led by quarterback Kevin Mond. The Aggies are 3-2 as they welcome the Kentucky Wildcats off to their best start since 2007, led by star running back Benny Snell. The football Cats are the talk of the Commonwealth.
What is going on with this Kentucky Wildcat team?
People around the state are used to the basketball success.
I'm totally buying into Kentucky.
We've already got them winning the national championship.
This team is for real.
Let's go Wildcats.
And welcome everyone to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. About 100,000 people expected to be on hand tonight here at Kyle Field. They'll watch 5-0 Kentucky, one of 13 remaining undefeated teams in the country, and ranked number 13 take on Texas A&M, 3-2 with the 2 losses to number 1 Alabama and then number 2 Clemson. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us. We'll be joined in just a moment by Holly Rowe. And Todd, the Kentucky Wildcats, one of the great stories in college football this year. They built it up under Coach Mark Stoops in his image. It's a power running game led by Benny Snell, and Texas A&M thinks it has the best running back in the SEC in Travion Williams.
Well, we have the 2 top rushers in the conference in this ball game. Benny Snell of Kentucky is 225 pounds. He has great leg drive. He runs with power and a huge chip on his shoulder. More than half of his yards come after initial contact. Travion Williams, he's a guy as a freshman, became the first A&M freshman to go for over 1,000. Battled injuries last year, healthy now, and off to a fast start.
When we visited with them yesterday, both running backs said the result of the game is the most important thing, but it is an opportunity to make a statement about who the best running back is in the SEC. Benny Snell said, I think that's already been decided based on my numbers, but he welcomes the chance to take the field tonight. And here come the Aggies, led by Jimbo Fisher. He called this a pivotal game for his team. He'll learn a lot about his Aggies against undefeated Kentucky tonight. First meeting since 1953. The kickoff in a moment. Hot night and humid, temperature near 90 degrees as Kentucky and Texas A&M get ready. Texas A&M won the toss and deferred, so the Aggies will kick off. Braden Mann with a strong leg. 26 touchbacks this season and 35 kickoffs. Sends it in the air toward Lynn Bowden. And that's out of the back of the end zone. Down on the field, Holly Rowe.
Well, consider this. Last year at this time, Kentucky quarterback Terry Wilson was playing at Garden City Community College in Kansas. What a difference a year makes. He had a really great recruiting pitch from his running back, Benny Snell, who said, if you come to Kentucky, I promise I will give you everything, extra effort. But in a night when they are facing one of the most stingy run defenses in the SEC, Snell could be shut down. So Terry Wilson, when we said, are you ready to win a game for the Cats with your arm? He said, no doubt, I'm ready for this opportunity.
They haven't needed much from the passing game. They've gotten ahead, leaning heavily on the run. They might need him to produce more down the field throws tonight. He fakes to Benny Snell, and the pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Trying to get a little short hitch route just to kind of get him started. And the ball knocked down. Safe throw. Nice work by Durham, knocking the ball down.
Landis Durham, senior defensive end from Plano, Texas. 2nd down and 10. It's an excellent offensive line for Kentucky. They fake it to Snell, and as a result, a wide open receiver. C.J. Conrad, one of the best tight ends in the country, a 17-yard gain to the 42.
This is an RPO. The offensive line is blocking run. Kentucky, a run-heavy team. They fake it in there, and the linebackers coming downhill left that area voided for the tight end Conrad.
And mark the ball back on the 41-yard line. Pickup of 16. A&M crowding the line of scrimmage, so they haven't handed it to Benny Snell yet. He stays in to block for Wilson, who has another man open. It's Conrad again for 9 yards.
How about it? 3 plays in the game, all 3 passes. 2 of them complete by Terry Wilson. Team, they fake it in there, and the linebackers coming downhill left that area voided for the tight end Conrad.
And mark the ball back on the 41-yard line. Pickup of 16. A&M crowding the line of scrimmage, so they haven't handed it to Benny Snell yet. He stays in the block for Wilson, who has another man open. It's Conrad again for 9 yards.
How about it? 3 plays in the game, all 3 passes, 2 of them complete by Terry Wilson. All safe stuff. That tight end, a big target right in the middle of the field. Nice job by Eddie Grand, the offensive coordinator, getting his quarterback off to a quick start. Now it's time for Benny Snell.
2nd down, about 2.5 for Kentucky, 1st down. Lynn Bowden, their leading receiver, the motion man. Wilson, an excellent runner. Matter of fact, he was a big part of their win against Florida with his running skills.
He could have made the 1st down there if he would have just ducked that shoulder and gone forward. He turned his back to the line of scrimmage and came up short. 3rd down defense for Texas A&M. They've been really good. Now this is 3rd and short and a very good running team, so you gotta like Kentucky's chances running the football here for a 1st down.
Only Miami of Florida and Syracuse better on 3rd down defense entering this weekend. And there's Snell, his 1st carry, and a 1st down to the A&M 48-yard line.
Just power football. You got a lot of blockers over here. Benny Snell has great vision and patience along with that strength. He waits, sees a crease, and then he runs behind his pad so well. And he is always going to get extra yardage because of his running style.
A new mouthpiece every week for Benny Snell. He said he likes that one because it whistles when he runs by people and starts breathing a bit more heavily.
Time for a screen type play right here.
It's Snell to the 50-yard line. Kingsley Keke made the tackle. Here's a deeper look into the life of Benny Snell Jr. Peanut butter and jelly with bananas. Who doesn't like that? We mentioned his dad, a fine running back himself. Signed by the Ravens, but played in NFL Europe and the XFL. He's here tonight. He's been a great influence on his son. Wilson faked the toss and managed to get away from the 1st tackler, but not Tyrell Dodson. He escaped from Justin Matabike.
Tyrell Dodson was a spy on that play. He was watching the quarterback the whole way. Watch Dodson right here, or actually he's right here. He's going to just keep his eye right on the quarterback. His responsibility is Terry Wilson. He's mirroring him wherever he goes, and once he sees Wilson try to break the pocket, he's right there for the tackle.
3rd and 13. Kentucky not accustomed to this. They've stayed ahead of the chains most of the season, relying on that running game. Wilson got it off quickly. Snell's in trouble and dumped for a loss. Otaro Alaka, their leading tackler for the year, drops Snell at the 44-yard line.
Back-to-back plays. We see those 2 linebackers. They're both excellent players. Dodson, the play before, Alaka on 3rd down, making good open field tackles, and Kentucky will have to punt the football.
Max Duffy, the punter, 25-year-old sophomore from Perth, Australia. Arrived in January, so he took advantage of the extra time on the Kentucky campus in Lexington to learn the rules of American football. Good punt. And a fair catch made at the 13-yard line by Roshad Paul. 44-yard punt. So here comes Kevin Mond in Texas A&M on offense for the 1st time right after this. Texas A&M on offense for the 1st time. Travion Williams, one of the best running backs in the country, into the arms of Josh Allen, one of the best defenders
really
in
nice.
the United States.
Nice block by Carson Green, the right tackle. This is the biggest offensive line they've ever had at Texas A&M. The leader is their center, Eric McCoy, 3-year starter, great leader, communicator, smart guy. Really nice first play for them with the run game.
With Kellen Mond at the helm, as you saw with his numbers. Off to a solid start. And Travion Williams dumped behind the line of scrimmage. Mike Edwards, one of 8 seniors who start on this Kentucky defense, up from his safety spot to make the play.
The entire secondary, all 4 are seniors, and they have been playing at a very high level. Mike Edwards with a nice tackle there, forcing a 3rd down situation.
Kentucky defense giving up just 12.6 points per game. 3rd best in the country entering the weekend behind Washington and undefeated Cincinnati.
Josh Allen's who you better watch out for, 41.
He was blocked well, and Mond into traffic with a nice throw to Jay Sternberger, the junior college transfer, with a 14-yard catch and a 1st down.
Beautiful route. Here's Sternberger. He's just going to run it out, but the timing of the throw is why this was a completion. As soon as he comes out of the break, the ball is there in between 2 defenders. You can't throw it any better than Kevin Mond did right there. This is a team that did not even have a tight end on the roster last year. Sternberger has been a huge addition.
Under Kevin Sumlin, they were a spread offense team. Their base was a running back and 4 wide receivers. Mond, dual threat with Jimbo Fisher's offense. More of a pro-style attack. They don't have as many design runs as they've had here at A&M in the past under Coach Sumlin.
Well, he is a very dangerous runner when he gets into the open field. He's very fast. He had over 100 yards rushing against Alabama.
First season here for Jimbo Fisher, lured away from Florida State after 8 successful seasons there. Nearly midway through the opening quarter, Mond into traffic and incomplete. Tried to rifle it to Kendrick Rogers, who couldn't hang on with Derek Beatty covering.
There you see one of those senior cornerbacks. Beatty, both corners are 6'3". They're big, long, and physical guys. Play with a lot of confidence. Beatty's been starting since the end of his freshman year. One of the real vocal leaders, and came up with a nice play there to force 3rd and long. We have to rush Kevin Mond with discipline here. See a guy in the middle of the field, probably there to spy Kevin Mond.
And number 41, the biggest concern for the A&M offensive line. High throw over the head of Jay Sternberger, and incomplete, and Texas A&M will punt.
Both teams ended up in 3rd and long. Neither one of these teams are really built to play behind the chains. Good job by both defenses, forcing the negative play, forcing 3rd and long, and ultimately forcing a punt.
How about the season Braden Mann is having? His first year as a starting punter here. 53.6 leading the country. And if he finished the year there, it would be the single season FBS record. That's a low kick that he got away with. Stayed inbounds and bounced for about 15 yards along the sideline. And Bouvier stopped at the 32. Holly?
Well, guys, a huge story developing here down on the field. The best offensive lineman for Kentucky, their center, Drake Jackson, who they call the quarterback, is out of this game with a groin injury. So a new center right now. I'll give you more in just a moment.
Looks like they moved Bunchy Stallings to center, who is their best guard. Moved him over and brought a new right guard in.
A very impressive guard. A.J. Rose, the backup to Benny Snell. A nice catch and about a 3-yard gain.
And guys, just keep in mind, Bunchy Stallings is usually their right guard that pulls a lot in some of their actions. So this really changes what they like to do up front. But Bunchy did take a bunch of practice snaps with Terry Wilson here on the sideline before he ran out there to hurry and take over at center.
A lot of times offensive line, they cross-train guys just for situations like this.
Veteran offensive line, 4 starters back from a year ago. That's one of the keys to their success as a team. A lot of experience. Rose been a very nice compliment to Snell.
Yeah.
Came up about a yard short of the first down. A big tackle by Keldrick Carper.
And Eddie Grant told us they were going to try to find about 10 more plays for Rose. They feel like he's really come on. It will keep Benny Snell fresh. There's Eddie Grant, longtime coordinator, running back coach in this conference.
Both some good ones at Auburn, at LSU, at Ole Miss. He raves about Snell. 3rd down and 1. Rose remains the running back. And he gets the call straight ahead, really off right guard where Bunchy Stallings ordinarily would be. That is the strength of their offensive line, the right, when Stallings is over there.
Well, they still ran right by him. He kind of led into the zone on that right side, ran right behind Bunchy Stallings, and ran underneath the tackle of Keldrick Carper, number 14. The advantage for Stallings moving to center is that Kentucky, unlike A&M, they are never under the center. They're in the shotgun all the time. So he's practiced shotgun snaps.
Terry Wilson, look out. Saw the pressure coming from his right, got away from Tyree Johnson, and runs out of bounds with a gain on that play.
What I think we might see as a counter by Mike Elko now would be to maybe take Dalen Mack, who is playing outstanding up front this year for A&M, put him right over the nose. He can be a very disruptive guy. So if you put him right over the new center, Bunchy Stallings, it could cause some problems.
Mack is 6'1", 320. They flip it to Lynn Bowden with some running room. He can fly inside the 20, inside the 10, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Kentucky. 54 yards.
I don't know what Donovan Wilson was doing, number 6. It's act like watch number 6. It looks like he almost doesn't know that Bowden has the football. He runs right by him. Olaka takes a bad angle, and Lynn Bowden with an outstanding play. We talked about how dangerous he is when he gets his hands on the football. Shows it right there.
A pass play of 54 yards. Matching the longest pass play by the Wildcats this year, and Bowden had the other 54-yarder. Miles Butler the extra point.
Those are the best passes you could ever ask for as a quarterback. You threw it about 1.5 yards, underhand, and you let this guy do the rest.
He's playing for his baby boy, son Lynn III. Lynn Bowden Jr. from Youngstown, Ohio, the hometown of Coach Mark Stoops. They have a pipeline, particularly to Youngstown, but also to the state of Ohio on a larger scale, and a lot of big plays at the beginning of this season in contrast to the start of last year.
Well, I'll tell you, they are really committed to recruiting the state. 27 guys on the roster from the state of Ohio. Vince Morrow, the recruiting coordinator, is also from Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, and he and Mark Stoops are in lockstep recruiting that state.
Grant McInnes kicks off. Jay-Sean Corbin takes a knee about 3 yards deep.
So is this guy, Josh Allen. Been pretty quiet so far, but he is a potential game wrecker.
Did a nice job blocking him. He got in the face of Mond and almost batted it out of his hand. And Mond down back at the 18-yard line.
No help on this guy. He's too good of a speed rusher. He goes by the left tackle, and this is the move he's worked on, that chop at the end of the rush. He doesn't get too far above the quarterback, and Kellen Mond shows some strength to hold on to that football, because that is almost a sure strip sack or fumble in most cases.
He's doing it all, leading the conference in tackles for loss, sacks, and he drops into coverage about as often as he rushes. Mark Stoops said if there's a defensive player in the country playing better than Josh Allen, I want to see who it is. Of course, Coach Stoops back on his own defense. Jay-Sean Corbin with some running room. Bounced off the hit of Mike Edwards, got a few more, and came up 2 yards short of the line to make it the 33, a 15-yard pickup.
Jay-Sean Corbin is another young back. Jimbo Fisher was recruiting him at Florida State. Continued to recruit him, got him to come to Texas A&M. They want to get him more and more involved in what they're doing. He took the opening kickoff against Arkansas back for a touchdown last week.
End of the first quarter. Here's a Floridian from Rockledge, Florida. Fast-moving quarter, as you might expect, when these two teams that lean on the run get together. 7-0 Kentucky. A hot night in College Station. Josh Allen, senior from Montclair, New Jersey. Spent 3 years in high school in Alabama as well. From a very athletic family. His sister, Aisha Hines Allen, started Louisville. Just finished a year with the Washington Mystics of the WNBA. They went to the WNBA Finals. He's a dad, 9-month-old son Wesley. The guy really changed his body in the off season. And big key to this team's success, Todd, is he decided to come back.
Right.
C.J. Conrad, the tight end, decided to come back. Mike Edwards, the safety, decided to come back when all were pondering the NFL.
Well, Josh Allen made himself a whole lot of money by coming back. 4th and short in your own territory. You've got a big quarterback. I would expect quarterback sneak here.
Mond 6'2", 210. It's the heaviest offensive line in school history. They averaged 313 pounds. Looked like he might have juggled the snap from way up here atop Kyle Field, but he did get the first down.
So here's the issue. This is the first year in his quarterbacking life that Kellen Mond has ever took snaps under center. I mean, all through high school, he took shotgun snaps. All through his time here at A&M, he did bobble the snap. And that's the hardest place to secure a snap, is in goal line and short yardage plays, because the center is usually making a reach block, and you have to really hang in there and ride the center. And Kellen Mond was very fortunate that he was able to hang on to that football.
Neither of the star running backs is really broken free. Travion Williams has 16 yards rushing. It's Mond doing the work with his feet. And that was the issue for him, Todd. He was recruited by Kevin Sumlin as a dual threat running and throwing quarterback, and he wondered how much the running part would be a factor with Jimbo Fisher's offense.
Well, this is an option. Travion Williams is blocking. Kellen Mond has the option of pitching to Courtney Davis, but makes the right decision to run the football. He is a talented runner because he's got speed when he gets to that second level of the defense.
16-yard gain there. Mond told us, obviously, when they made the coaching change, there was some concern in his mind. But once he read about Jimbo Fisher's history of developing quarterbacks and sending them on to the NFL, he was very excited. He thinks he's a much better pocket passer than he was. And perhaps the improvement on display there as he dodged the rush and got it to Courtney Davis for a first down to the Kentucky 36.
Yeah, rather than just taking off and trying to get out of the pocket when things break down a little bit, he just keeps his poise, keeps his eyes downfield, and makes a beautiful throw to Courtney Davis. It was a great inside rush, a quick inside rush by T.J. Carter that collapsed the pocket, but there was no panic in Kellen Mond on that play.
Very mature young man, raised in a military family. His dad spent 10 years in the Army. I was very impressed by both quarterbacks, Todd, during our visit yesterday. Both obviously very mature young men. Jay-Sean Corbin got flattened, but got about 6 for A&M on the move. Here's a look at the bio of Kellen Mond, sophomore from San Antonio. But as we mentioned, spent a year at IMG Academy last year in high school. And was in a battle to be the starting quarterback in the offseason. He was actually the backup as a true freshman at the start of last year. Nick Starkel was the starter. Starkel hurt his foot in their crushing loss at the beginning of the year against UCLA. Mond started 8 games, went 5-3. Starkel got his job back at the end of the year. Then they battled with the new coaching staff, really auditioning both of them, and Mond won the battle, and he's seen almost all of the snaps so far this season. Jay-Sean Corbin stopped by Mike Edwards. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Well, the 2 losses, he did a lot of good things. He threw for over 400 yards against Clemson, the game here that they had a lot of chances to win. The Alabama game, it ended up being kind of a lopsided score, but it was close for a good portion of that game. And in that game, he ran the ball well, ran for over 100 yards. He's a very talented guy who I think is going to get better and better under the tutelage of Jimbo Fisher and Daryl Dickey, the quarterback coach.
Fisher calls the plays with plenty of input from Dickey. Mond kept it. Mond lunging for the marker. Derek Beatty chased him out, and he's short by about a yard.
Kentucky did a really nice job of blowing up the mesh point on this play. This is a read play for Kellen Mond. They forced him to keep the football. Watch the crash on the mesh point. Excellent job. That was Josh Allen who tackled the back and forced the quarterback to keep and break it outside. And nice pursuit by the Kentucky defense.
They went for it on 4th and inches in their own territory with a true freshman kicker who'd be trying one from about 45 here. Jimbo Fisher has the offense out there. I think he might call a timeout. He is the official nearby. They snap it. They hand it off to Jayshawn Corbin, and it doesn't look like he got it.
You know, the last fourth and short, they were under the center and ran quarterback sneak. This time they put the quarterback in the shotgun and handed it to Corbin, and I'm not sure he got it.
And they're short by almost a yard. Kentucky takes over on downs.
We talk about the Texas A&M run defense coming into the game, third in the nation, only giving up 80 yards a game. Kentucky's run defense has been excellent themselves, averaging only giving up 3.6 yards per rushing attempt. That time on fourth down, they were very stout. Actually, on third and fourth down, outstanding run defense.
Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, big news. Drake Jackson can return to this game, but on this play, he's not running in there. They thought he was going to come in and be the center and snap right now, but they're going to have to stick with Bunchy Stallings right now, but Drake Jackson can return.
He's usually the right guard. Luke Fortner, backup. Sophomore, number 79, in at guard. Benny Snell.
That's a typical Benny Snell run right there. That play looked like it was gained 1-2 yards, but again, this is a guy who runs behind his pads. He has great leg drive, very powerful legs, and he just churns out more yards than it looks like there. I mean, that's a 5-6 yard gain when it looked like it would have been a 1 or 2 yard gain.
Drake Jackson, the starting center, does look ready, as Holly said, still on the sideline. Kentucky leading 7-0. And the toss dropped by Snell, and he scoops it back in. Looked like Kingsley Keke had a great chance to get it for Texas A&M.
This is a bad pitch. This pitch is high and up on the shoulder pad of Benny Snell. You want that ball low and right in front of him so he can catch it and turn upfield. They use this action a lot. They can toss it. The quarterback can keep it. They'll also throw off of it, but that was a bad pitch by the quarterback, Terry Wilson.
Larry Grant talked about staying ahead of the chains. They're not as well equipped as some teams that throw the ball better to convert on 3rd and 7. Wilson's average just 119 yards per game passing. He's poised in the pocket. He can run. He got 105 rushing yards in their win at Florida. He got rocked well short of the first down. Belted by Donovan Wilson, the senior safety from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, this was only a 3-man rush, which means they drop 8 into coverage, and they've got a linebacker in there watching the quarterback. So really good disguise by Mike Elko. Nowhere to go with the football for Terry Wilson against those 8 guys dropping, and they forced the punt. Good response after their offense gave it up on 4th down.
Here's Terry Wilson on first down for Kentucky. Wow. A lot of talent on that Georgia team, number 2 in the country. Kentucky's number 13. LSU's lost, now one of 12 undefeated teams in the country. A.J. Rose lost the ball, and Luke Fortner got on it, but it's a loss on the play of a couple for Kentucky.
Still no Drake Jackson at center. Bunchy Stallings with the center. Ball's popped out. That was Matabike that knocked the ball out, and Fortner does a nice job getting on the football. Kentucky 2 of 5 on 3rd downs. Neither team having much success against these 2 defenses on 3rd down.
Not much offense on either side. Kentucky just 121 yards of offense, 54 on the touchdown play. Terry Wilson in a crowd. Didn't look like he could follow through as he tried to get it to Dorian Baker.
Yeah, if he could have got rid of this ball a little bit sooner, Dorian Baker was open and probably would have been able to run for the first down. He just is late getting the ball out. Baker's open right now. Right now, he stepped up too far in the pocket, and when he tried to get the ball to Baker, it was too late.
Well, let's see what Duffy can do. It's his turn. The 82-yard punt a moment ago by Braden Mann was the 3rd longest in A&M history, and the longest since 1944 when Bobby Goff set a school record with an 86-yard kick against Texas Tech. That's just a 48-yard punt. Come on, Duffy. Jimbo Fisher, very familiar with the man wearing the head coach's headset across the field, Mark Stoops. Coach Stoops was Jimbo's defensive coordinator at Florida State for 3 years, right before Mark left to go to Lexington as the head coach.
And how about that guy right there? That's Eddie Gran, who was also on that staff. He's the offensive coordinator for Mark Stoops at Kentucky. So a lot of familiarity between these coaches.
We asked Mark Stoops about it. He said, you know, our defense has changed so much over the years, and Jimbo's offense, yeah, we're familiar, but it really isn't much of a factor in this game. What is a factor is neither one of these highly touted and productive running backs can get it going so far.
Well, I think the other thing that is evident, if you're not familiar with Kentucky football this year, here's the thing you got to know. This is not a team that's doing it with flash and spread offense and bells and whistles. They are a physical group in the trenches on the offense and defensive line. They are built like an SEC team, and that's why they are holding their own at the line of scrimmage, and a big reason why they're undefeated.
Travion Williams lost a yard. He's rushed for just 20 yards, less than 3 per carry. Here he is as a receiver. Lots of running room down the sideline and into Wildcat territory out at the 39.
We've seen Mike Edwards make some good plays so far. He made a costly mistake. Watch to the top of the screen. Number 7 is going to try to take an angle underneath the blockers, but he underestimates the speed of Travion Williams, and then there's no help on the perimeter. Well executed throwback screen, and Mike Edwards, a very reliable tackler in the open field, took a bad angle to the football.
32-yard gain, longest play of the night for Texas A&M. Kellen Mond on target to Kendrick Rogers. Big target at 6'3", 210. Knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line by Derek Beatty.
He's been bothered a little bit by a foot injury, but he was a star in the Clemson game. 7 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, a couple miraculous type catches in that game.
That was their 2nd game of the year. Clemson was number 2 when they came here. Clemson had to intercept a 2-point attempt by Texas A&M in the final minute to preserve the 2-point win for the Tigers. That pass is incomplete off the hands of Rogers. Jimbo Fisher frustrated about that Clemson game still. When we talked to him yesterday, he said, I felt like we outplayed them, we outgained them. It was a real opportunity early in the year to get a huge win.
They outgained him, they ran more plays, but they also had more turnovers. They had 2 turnovers, and Clemson had 0 on the road. And at the end of the day, Clemson made enough plays to get out of here with a win.
The 3rd down and 4. They're in the fringe of field goal range. They don't have to worry about that. Now Mond on target. Then Cameron Buckley lost the ball after he had advanced past the 1st down marker. Eric McCoy, the center, got it back. But now they're back at the 30-yard line.
Well, the question was his knee down before the ball came out, first of all. And then when the ball was recovered, if it was recovered by A&M, was that beyond the 1st down? Looks like Lonnie Johnson, the cornerback, is the guy that knocks the ball out.
The ruling is the runner's knee was down before the ball came out at the 26-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 26. Reset the game clock to 4 minutes and 20 seconds. 4:20 on the game clock, please.
The guy I think that could be a valuable guy to look for right here now is Jay Sternberger. We haven't heard him or seen him very much here since early in the ball game. The tight end of this part of the field is a matchup problem for Kentucky's defense.
What a story he is. He was a 3rd-string tight end at a small
4:20
junior
on the game
college.
clock, please. Set 4:20 on the game clock.
Northeastern Oklahoma,
Thank you.
A&M College in Miami, Oklahoma. The Golden Norsemen, who've actually produced pretty good football players over the years. Guys like Ernest Givens, Marion Butts, James Wilder. They had to look hard to find him on the film. They had some excellent tight ends ahead of him. Josh Allen yanks down Kellen Mond after a gain of 2.
That's where you see the other part of Josh Allen's game. We know about him as a pass rusher and getting tackles behind the line of scrimmage. His ability to chase plays down from the backside. You cannot run slow developing plays away from him because he will hunt you down. And he did that time for a very short gain by Kellen Mond.
Deepest penetration of the game for the Texas A&M offense. They haven't made it to the red zone. There's a ball toward the end zone, and it's batted down. And there's Josh Allen showing that versatility, one of the best pass rushers in the country, with beautiful coverage near the end zone.
He's running the underneath coverage on the tight end Sternberger. They anticipated that that's where Kevin Mond was going with the football. And look at that big defensive end, outside linebacker, get down the field and get a hand on the football. He's providing underneath coverage for the safety Darius West, and does a great job.
We mentioned he spent 3 years in high school in Alabama before he went back to his native New Jersey for his senior year of high school, and he was a wide receiver.
All state
in Alabama. He wants to be drafted higher than his sister. Aisha went number 19 in WNBA draft. Right now he has some work to do, according to our Todd McShay, who loves him as the #1 outside linebacker, but has him an early second-round pick. Number 35 overall. Good throw. Mond, first down, first and goal. Jay Sternberger on the receiving end.
Sternberger does a great job against zone defense when he makes his outside break sitting down in between the two Kentucky defenders. That time there was no underneath coverage provided, and he found a nice hole in between the zone defenders, and Kevin Mond hit him with the football. Again, in this part of the field, he is a problem for a defense.
First time in the red zone for either team. Kentucky's touchdown was a 54-yarder. Travion Williams, big hole left side, and he's inside the 5. Chopped down by Darius West, who saved the touchdown.
Red zone touchdowns. Kentucky's defense has been outstanding. They've had 12 opponent drives in the red zone. Only 4 times have they scored touchdowns. And for Texas A&M, 17 out of 27 red zone possessions have resulted in a touchdown. Big opportunity here with 2nd and goal.
Jimbo Fisher says he's so smart, sometimes he overthinks what his responsibility should be. They bring pressure at Mond. They didn't get to him. Corner ball up for grabs and incomplete. Courtney Davis the target. Mike Edwards has had a nice first half for Kentucky. Had the coverage.
This part of the field, everything shrinks. You just don't have as much room to throw the football, and this length all the way across the Kentucky secondary. They've got size and length, and they make it very difficult to throw the football because of their length. I think you got to give Kevin Mond a chance to run the ball here. I know it's 3rd down. You've thrown on 2nd down. I say you go quarterback run, let Travion Williams be the lead blocker.
Some sort of option, perhaps. Nope. Straight pass to the end zone. Caught.
Yes.
Touchdown, Courtney Davis.
Saw him working on this play on practice on Thursday. A little out route. It's a timing route. He shows fade and then breaks out, and the quarterback is instructed throw it right to the pylon. The back coming out of the backfield held the safety in place. It's one-on-one coverage, and that's excellent execution by Kevin Mond and Courtney Davis for the touchdown.
2nd touchdown of his sophomore season for Davis. We talked to Kevin Mond yesterday about the absence of Jamon Osmond, his former high school teammate and roommate at IMG Academy. Said who could step up. He said Courtney Davis could be really special. He's an excellent route runner. And Davis has 2 catches in this opening half and the A&M score. 7-7 at the half. See if these 2 running teams can get the running games going in the 2nd half. But first, back to Adnan Burke in the studio. Kyle Field in College Station, Texas on a warm night. Defensive struggle. Kentucky and Texas A&M tied at 7 as we head for the 2nd half. Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge. After that touchdown by Lynn Bowden from 54 yards, Kentucky did not have another first down in the half. 3 and outs after. What do they need to do to get a little offense here?
I think they got to, what's that saying? You got to dance with who brung you. I think they got to go back to giving the ball to Benny Snell. 6 carries in the first half. You know, he's too much a part of what they want to do. That's their identity. It'll be interesting to see if they get their center back here in the 2nd half. But they got to get back to their physical style. And A&M, you know, Travion Williams, he had 29 carries last week, only 10 carries in the first half of this game. So I think we have to see more of him as well.
6 carries for 23 yards rushing for Snell, who averages 128 rushing yards per game, leading the SEC 7th in the country. Williams averaging better than 116 yards per game rushing, 2nd in the SEC, way below his numbers with 48. Grant McInnes kicks off for Kentucky, drives it to Jayshon Corbin, who takes a knee. A moment ago, Holly Rowe with Coach Mark Stoops.
Well, Coach, normally Benny Snell averages about 23 carries a game, just 6 in the first half. What's going on with him?
We didn't have enough plays. We only had 27 plays, so we had 2 3-and-outs back to back there. We got behind the chains. That's not helping us, so we got to move the football, but he does need to get his touches.
Coach, you've been great on defense, but that last drive they gained some momentum. What can you do better on Kevin Mond when he runs with the ball?
Well, he's a good football player. We got to continue to mix it up. When we get our pressures, you know, get him down on the ground, and they're converting some 3rd downs on us, so it's a tough game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
It is indeed. Kellen Mond handed it off to Travion Williams, and he's free. And a big tackle by the safety, Darius Wester. He might have been off to the races. It's a 19-yard run.
Nice job by Sternberger. Watch the tight end kind of crash down in here. Travion Williams shows vision. He hits it inside, then busts it outside the tight end's block and into the 2nd level for the first play of the 3rd quarter.
And on the field for that play at linebacker, number 56, Cash Daniel, their leading tackler for the year, who could not play in the first half because of a targeting ejection. 2nd half of last week's game against South Carolina. Mond is smothered by Jamar Watson. And now there are whistles. For a moment there weren't any. And Kentucky was looking to take it into the end zone. Slow to get up is Keaton Sutherland, the guard.
Well, Watson was working on the other tight end, Trevor Wood, right here. Watson's going to just beat him. It's a bull rush on a tight end. He's going to overpower him on his way to the quarterback, drive him off, and then get to the quarterback, Kellen Mond. And there you see the injury to Sullivan, who got rolled up on by his own player at the end of the play.
He's a veteran. This is his 29th career start.
Connor Landfear in now, the backup at right guard.
Number 70. He's also experienced. He started 11 games last year. Mond flagged down. Josh Allen indicated he was being held as he extended his arms when Mond ran away from him.
No, I think this is going to be a hands to the face on Kentucky.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 99, defense. Penalty is 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, it was right in the middle of the screen. 99 working on 73. You see that head snap back, and there it is.
Oh, no
he
doubt.
just never let go of it.
No wonder there were 2 flags, and it was blatant.
Adrian Middleton, the guilty party.
I think Mark Stoops wanted what you saw at the end of the play, a hold. He felt Josh Allen was being held as Mond ran away from him. Allen thought he was. He threw his arms out to the side as if to say, where's the flag for holding?
A little momentum here for the A&M offense. Start the 3rd quarter.
Clearly trying to get Travion Williams going. He's inside the 30-yard line. Darius West, the safety, another tackle.
Good job by the center that time. Eric McCoy getting a nice block on Jordan Jones, the linebacker. That forced the safety, West, to have to come down to make the tackle.
A throwback, Travion Williams. Good tackle by that man again, Josh Allen, to stop it at the 26.
Now that's keeping your eyes up and making a sure tackle. Because if he doesn't make this tackle, Travion Williams is going to pick up another first down. He's dropped in coverage. He sees the play, reads it, gets off the block, and makes the tackle. That's outstanding work by Josh Allen out in the open field. Now I would expect to see him rush the passer on this play. 3rd down.
Snapped it with 2. Mond takes the short throw. Chase Sternberger, and a good tackle by Lonnie Johnson for a short gain. They're way short of the first down. And the field goal unit comes out for Jimbo Fisher.
Great momentum to start this drive. Then they hurt themselves. They had the penalty. They overcame that. Then the bad snap they were not able to overcome. And now they have to settle for a field goal attempt.
It wasn't a great snap, but you quarterback. I mean, I thought Mond was a little casual trying to field that with one hand high into the right.
Maybe so.
A little more intensity, a little more effort.
Here's Seth Small, true freshman from Katy, Texas, near Houston. That one, Houston has a problem. Off the upright and no good. He stepped in when the returning kicker Daniel LaCamera was injured in the second game of the year against Clemson. Broke his foot in that game. And Small has now made just one for his last four. Still tied at 7 in the third quarter. Kyle Field, fourth largest college football stadium in the country, capacity of more than 102,000. They've watched the Texas A&M defense do a very nice job on Benny Snell. Part of it is way below the number of carries he typically gets in the 3 SEC games prior to tonight, averaging 27 rushes per game, just 8 tonight.
Yeah. And part of it is what Mark Stoops told Holly. I mean, Texas A&M controlling the time of possession, running more plays. But I still think with the game 7-7, I mean, it's still time to feed the ball to Benny Snell.
A&M has run 51 plays to 32 for Kentucky, almost an 8-minute advantage in time of possession for A&M. Benny Snell gets very little. Otaro Alaka made the tackle. Matter of fact, Texas A&M started the night #1 in the country in time of possession among the Power 5 conference schools, 5th in the country overall.
And 3rd in the country in their run defense, and they have been as good as advertised. They're very stout up front. They've got linebackers that play downhill. And Dotson is back in the game for A&M, which is big for the Aggies.
Terry Wilson handed it off. Snell gets 2. Not only did Texas A&M spend a lot of money to bring Jimbo Fisher here. They wanted a coach that could win a national championship. He's one of the 4 active coaches who's won one at the FBS level. But they spent a lot of money to bring Mike Elko, the defensive coordinator here from Notre Dame. He had been at Wake Forest prior to that. Jimbo Fisher coached against him in the ACC and said, I just always admired what a great job his defenses did. And they're working together and quite effectively here at Texas A&M. Third down and 9. Look out, Terry Wilson. Sidesteps the rush of Matabike. Now has a chance for a first down, but he's tripped up. Another open field stop by Donovan Wilson.
For the second time, we've seen Terry Wilson leave the pocket, unable to find an open receiver downfield. The protection breaks down, and when he leaves the pocket, it looks initially like he's going to have enough for the first down. Picks up 1 block from Benny Snell, but then Donovan Wilson, one of the surest tacklers on this football team, stops him short again.
Here's Max Duffy, averaging nearly 51 per punt on 6 punts. Rashad Paul standing back at his 24-yard line for A&M.
Jeez.
These return men might want to back up. That drove him back about 13 yards to make the catch. And he brought it back to the 21. 57-yard punt, 11-yard return. So a couple of top 10 teams go down. Undefeated's Oklahoma and LSU no longer undefeated, meaning there are 12 teams without a loss in FBS football, including Kentucky.
And that Kentucky win in Gainesville looks a little bit better now,
Sure
with the
does.
Gators at what, 5-1 now?
5-1.
Yeah.
It's the only loss for Florida. And it was a convincing win. Second game of the year, 27-16. Mark Stoops said we're just going to keep knocking down doors, and that was one of them, ending that 31-year drought. Good tackle, because it looked like Courtney Davis might get away after he made the catch, but Lonnie Johnson wouldn't let him escape.
Throw the ball on first down. Give yourself a lot of options on 2nd and short. We've seen Texas A&M start out drives, have momentum, and then kill themselves with penalties or bad snaps or almost fumbles. They've been their own worst enemy once they've gotten into Kentucky territory here in the 3rd quarter so far.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter. Travion Williams, tough run. Couldn't spin away from Darius West, and they won't have to snap it again. And given how they like to chew up the clock, you would think A&M wouldn't snap it again here in the third quarter.
Travion Williams is not as big as Benny Snell. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. But he's tough enough to run in between the tackles. But he's a guy that they want to get on the perimeter a little bit more to use his breakaway speed.
They do snap it. And in trouble, Kevin Mond throws on the run and throws it away. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter.
The quarterback was outside the tackle box, through the line, through beyond the line of gain. There's no foul for intentional grounding. That's the end of the third quarter.
On to the fourth quarter we go in this SEC battle. Kentucky and A&M tied at 7. It's a cool place. Kyle Field, home of the 12th man, College Station, Texas. We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton by Hilton. Kentucky 5-0, trying to go to 6-0 for the first time since 1950 in a 7-7 game. 2nd and 10, A&M. Kevin Mond on target. Travion Williams, not much of a receiver prior to tonight. He had 45 career catches in 3 years. The crowd thought he got horse collared down at the 49-yard line of Kentucky. It's 18 yards and a first down.
Well, he's kind of an outlet receiver here. He's a secondary choice. Good read by Kevin Mond, and then tough running once he had his hands on the football by Travion Williams. And once again, A&M with some momentum and into Kentucky territory. Controlling the time of possession and 20 more plays than the Kentucky Wildcats have run.
Seven-minute edge in the time of possession. It's Travion Williams surging down to the 43.
And the other thing to keep in mind here, Sean, because of that, because of the way Kentucky has played in their 5-game winning streak, controlling the clock, running the football, their defense hasn't had to play nearly as many plays or be on the field as long as they are in this game tonight. It's hot. They're in Texas. They're in the fourth quarter right now, and fatigue for this Kentucky defense could become a factor.
And so many of these spread teams run up to the line and snap it quickly. Texas A&M in no hurry. As a result of this style, it's been a much more rested defense than in years gone by. Nice play by Mike Edwards. Travion Williams taken down. Last year, that defense for Texas A&M was on the field for an average of 72 plays per game. This year, because the offense holds the ball, it's down to 55, fewest in the SEC.
Big third down play right here.
That defense facing few plays because the offense stays on the field. 13 minutes to go.
The two edge rushers have been a factor. Josh Allen and Jamar Watson. They're on either side of the formation here.
Allen quick off the ball, but it's a quick throw, and there's a big mistake. Interception by Darius West. First turnover of the night by either team, and West brought it back to the 49-yard line.
The ball kind of surprised Hezekiah Jones. Hezekiah Jones has not played very much. It's a hard throw by Kevin Mond, and it surprises the receiver. He's not ready to catch the football. It goes off his hands, and when a ball goes up in the air like that, normally something bad happens. The first turnover, and Kentucky makes a big play.
In a game like this, sometimes it's the mistake that plays a huge part in determining the outcome. First turnover of the night is the interception by Darius West, the 4th of his career. And on first down, Terry Wilson incomplete for Benny Snell.
Just a wasted play. You've got good field position. You've got to capitalize. And Kentucky is in desperate need of somebody to make a big play. Explosive plays, runs over 12 yards or passes over 20. Kentucky has one in the ball game. That was the Bowden touchdown.
2nd and 20. Terry Wilson dumps it over the middle, and Snell got belted from behind by Tyrell Dodson.
He got belted because the ball was so softly thrown. Terry Wilson's trying to get it over the line to his outlet receiver, but he just floats this ball. And because the ball floated in the air, Dodson had time to react. Whether his ankle's 100% or not, he had plenty of time to get there to deliver the big hit. I mean, that's the kind of throw you make on a jump pass in the end zone, but not in the middle of the field.
Crowd going crazy. Dreadful offensive night for Kentucky, but they're all about just continuing to win. Can they make a play now? Wilson, Snell didn't even see it coming. And it's an incomplete pass with Otaro Alaka moving in to cover Snell and wallop him perhaps if he made the catch.
What a response by the Aggie defense. Their offense turns it over. Kentucky has great field position. And they go 3 and out and go backwards. And A&M's going to get the football right back. They are not built to play behind the chains. I mean, that's obvious. The coaches told us that coming in, and they've been behind the chains for most of the night. 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Kentucky has not won football games that way.
Max Duffy. Another good punt, well away from the return man. It drove Rashad Paul well to his right, but he has lots of running room. And he's out to midfield. Out of bounds at the 49. Chased out by the punter Duffy, who kicked it 49. But Paul brought it back 43. Old-fashioned, hard-hitting defensive struggle here at Kyle Field tonight, and the special teams play for Texas A&M means this is the first time either team has started a drive across the 50-yard line. They're at the Kentucky 48. After the big punt return by Rashad Paul, here's Travion Williams trying to find some room. He gets 2.
Sean, we were talking about this game just felt like it's just been a back and forth slugfest, punt, that it was going to take some kind of momentum shifting play to turn it in one team's favor. We saw the turnover. That's a momentum shifting play. Kentucky was not able to capitalize on that turnover. Now we see a punt return, which is another big time momentum switch. Can Texas A&M take advantage of that now? You don't know how many of those kind of plays in a game like this you're going to get, and you have to capitalize.
Kentucky has not crossed midfield except for the 54-yard touchdown play. That's how anemic the Wildcats offense has been tonight. Mond off the hands of one receiver and into the paws of Jay Sternberger. Touchdown, Texas A&M. What a revelation Sternberger has been. Started his college career at Kansas. Played very little there. Wound up in junior college where he was a 3rd-string tight end. They were desperate to find tight ends. When Jimbo Fisher's staff took over this program, there weren't any in the program. Sternberger's been tremendous. And now some pushing and shoving that involves Sternberger after the extra point is good.
The ball was intended to go underneath to Cameron Buckley, number 14. It's a pretty good throw. Doesn't make the catch, and just like you draw it up right into the hands of Sternberger, a missed tackle by Jordan Griffin, the safety, and Texas A&M takes advantage of the momentum play. The leading receiver for A&M now, the tight end, Jay Sternberger.
His 5th touchdown catch of the year and ties the single-season record at Texas A&M for a tight end with Rod Bernstein and Jamie McCoy. 5 3-and-outs in the last 6 possessions. Wilson hasn't been asked to throw the ball much in crunch time because, as Holly said, they haven't been behind late in the games. He told us last night he believes if they have to make plays at the end through the air, he can do it. They stick with Benny Snell, and on 1st and 15, he got a yard. By far the lowest running total of his season so far, 38 yards on 11 carries.
Take a look at how difficult it has been for Kentucky tonight. Again, the number 3 running defense in college football, Texas A&M, and they have really handled this offensive line and running back Benny Snell tonight.
Wilson's 9 out of 16 for 82 yards passing and a touchdown. A lot of that was after the catch by Bowden. He cannot escape.
Kingsley Keke is a guy who is playing really well right here. He's playing as a defensive end. He's been an inside tackle and a defensive end. He beats the left tackle, E.J. Price. It's the guy that went this year from 323 pounds down to 287, kind of transformed his body and is a much more active player in the fourth quarter than he was a year ago.
Dropped his body fat by about 9%. Here comes a blitz off the corner. It's a screen to the other side to Snell with blockers, and he's down 4 yards short of the first down.
See, that's a good play, but they've been behind the chain so much that it's just not enough to get a new set of downs. It's an effective play. It was a well-executed play, but at 3rd and 13 or 14, it's just not enough.
There's Dalen Mack, another guy who got himself in much better shape for his senior season. Coaching staff said they really had to try to help him refine his love of the game. His dominant player in high school, tremendous freshman year, and then seemingly lost interest with each year thereafter. He is back and a factor. 8 minutes to go as Max Duffy sends a hook skyward, and Rashad Paul the fair catch at the 24. 45-yard punt.
If you're a Kentucky fan, I think this is the most important possession of the ball game for your defense. They can't afford to let Texas A&M move the football, obviously not score, but not even flip the field, because their offense has had so much trouble. They've got to get a good stop here and get the ball to their offense with some decent field position.
Travion Williams, a little more running room as he went to cut near the 40-yard line. Phil Hoskins made the tackle. Number 92 who's come back from major surgery on each shoulder to be a factor on this defensive line as a junior out of Toledo.
The reason this possession and that last 3rd down play was so huge for Kentucky defense is their offense just has not shown the ability to make any big plays, any chunk plays, or have some kind of a sustained drive. They just can't afford to give up more field to this A&M team.
Aggies milking the clock. Travion Williams spins ahead. Hoskins again on the tackle after Jamar Watson had a chance to stop him closer to the line and couldn't wrestle him down.
We talked to Jimbo Fisher. It's pretty interesting talking to him. One of the things he feels like they're still trying to teach and educate this team on is what it takes to win, understanding situations of games. Now, he's an offensive play caller. This is not the kind of game that he loves necessarily. They haven't been explosive, but they're in a position to win. They were in a position to win the Clemson game and didn't do it. This is a game that they're trying to do the right things to find a way to win.
A&M leading.
Wow, almost fumbled that snap.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Mond lost the football. It got batted away.
Oh my
Kentucky has it. It's Darius West, and the undefeated season is still alive and thriving in the Commonwealth. They're an extra point away from a tie.
I can't stress enough how different it is taking snaps under center when you've never done it. Watch the bobbled snap first. That throws up the timing of the play. He doesn't get the fake, and then he doesn't secure the football at the end of the play. And Kentucky's defense, which has played valiantly tonight, not only gets their second turnover, but turns it into points that the offense has not been able to manufacture.
Wow, here's the extra point to tie the game. And it is good by the senior Miles Butler.
How about the work by Darius West staying in bounds? After the missed tackle by Travion Williams, he's got to do some fancy footwork. There's the bobble. Kevin Mond just got discombobulated on the play and didn't secure the football. And Darius West, watch him stay in bounds because there's no guarantee their offense was going to score. He takes it upon himself and says, let the defense handle this one. And now if you're Kevin Mond and Texas A&M, you shake that off. You still got 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That's an eternity. And you got a tie football game.
Well, you mentioned -2 in each of their 2 losses to Alabama and Clemson. -2 tonight. Short kickoff. And Rashad Paul out of bounds just across the 25. And how about this? Travion Williams and back on the field after down for quite a while. Tried to prevent the defensive touchdown by Kentucky by making a tackle. Here's pressure on Mond, who tries to throw it away with Jordan Jones on him.
He was not out of the tackle box.
And the flag is down.
He was not out of the tackle box, and if the ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage, that's intentional grounding.
Number 11 offense was inside the tackle box.
Yep.
Through the passage in there with no eligible receiver. Penalties, loss of down to the spot of the foul. Second down.
I think it was Jordan Jones who came on an inside blitz untouched. Watch number 34 come in here on the blitz. Nobody picks him up. And Kellen Mond, trying to get rid of the football, gets called for the penalty. Good delayed rush by Jordan Jones. Forced that penalty.
He's been a factor tonight. He's been in the face of Mond several times. Made a big play for them last week at Kroger Field in Lexington early in that game against South Carolina. Forced to fumble and recovered it. Set up the first score of the game.
The killer of that penalty is its yardage and a loss of down. So it's second down and very long, not first down, repeat the play.
And how frisky will Jimbo Fisher get with the play calling here? With still a relatively inexperienced quarterback, true sophomore, Mond. And they are careful. He couldn't get away. He got yanked down by Josh Allen.
I think you have to play the percentages here if you're Jimbo. Number one, your defense has been lights out, and they've held Kentucky's offense in check, and the passing game has been no threat.
I guess number 2.
You've got a great punter.
Yeah, the punter's going to kick it 96 yards into the upper deck.
You have to play the percentages here and hope that your defense can get another stop.
Travion Williams.
Got some room for the punter. That's a good safe call. Kentucky was in a prevent defense. And now you give Braden Mann a little bit more room to boom one here.
If you're Kentucky, would you call a timeout? Or you have so little confidence in your offense? I guess you probably feel like you have enough time if you're going to do anything with 2.5 minutes and all of your timeouts.
And here's the other thing. If I'm Mark Stoops, I'm thinking I maybe would rather try to have my offense play in overtime where I start on the 25-yard line instead of thinking I could drive it with what we've done tonight so far. So I think he'll be very conservative as well.
Man leading the nation in punting. Wow. David Bouvier in trouble inside the 10. And it's the 12th man, fan favorite, Colin Gillespie.
He plays on every special teams. That's where he's made his mark. He's a fan favorite because of the 12th man, the jersey, the long flowing hair.
Benny Snell lined up behind Terry Wilson in the pistol. Conrad, the tight end, to the left. Snell finds some room. Snell has a first down. Dragged Charles Oliver along with him.
Kentucky with all 3 timeouts. You know, getting that first down is critical when you're running a 2-minute offense. But again, I just don't know how much confidence Mark Stoops has in Terry Wilson or their offense's ability to go on a 90-yard drive or even set up a potential winning field goal.
Well, you're going to be lucky to get to overtime probably if you get there. Nice catch by Snell. He's chopped down at the 29. He wanted more. Landis Durham in on the stop. Debian Renfro. Let's take a look at tonight's PlayStation Player Index. It's Snell way below his SEC leading rushing average, but still time to make the game deciding play tonight. Can he pop one? Maybe get him into field goal range. Pops one through the first level of the defense and has a first down at the 39. And now some life in their step with 1:17 to go in all 3 timeouts.
And now I think you can be a little bit more aggressive if you're Eddie Grant as the play caller. You've gotten 2 first downs. Now maybe to take a play or shot at something deeper down the field.
Wilson out wide to Conrad, the tight end. Short gain, did stop the clock with 59 seconds to go.
They have not used one of those timeouts yet. So if they make another first down, now you're thinking, what do we have to do to get in Miles Butler's range to try to win this football game?
His career long is 46. That was back in 2015. He's mostly a backup for the last 4 years to the all-time leading scorer in Kentucky history, Austin McGinnis. Both teams have unsettled place-kicking situations. And Wilson is sacked. Justin Matabike back at the 38-yard line.
Matabike with a good rush. Again, they line up, they show you 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. It's hard to decipher who's rushing and who's not. Matabike beats the center, Drake Jackson. Remember, Drake Jackson battling a groin injury, maybe not 100%, got beat by Matabike on that play.
3rd down and 11. 25 seconds to go. Undefeated Kentucky having a magical year till now. Wilson running out of time. He lost the football. Otaro Alaka knocked him down. The ball came out. Benny Snell got it back. There's a flag on the play. And the clock stopped with 13 seconds to go.
If you have to punt, you
Holding
have to punt.
number 71 offense. Penalties decline. The result of the play is 4th down.
Yeah, you decline the penalty because they lost yardage on the play. Here's the hold right.
Second charge
early
timeout. Texas A&M.
On Kiki.
30-second timeout.
A&M uses the timeout right here. Terry Wilson. No, don't do that.
Well, he might have been down.
His knee was down, but just hold on to the ball, eat it, and punt the football. And they're hoping for bigger things with Terry Wilson.
Will Jimbo Fisher come after Max Duffy? They have everybody on the line. Nobody back deep for the punt. Not a great punt by Duffy.
No.
And now A&M, if they could make one play, they might be able to try a long field goal.
I think Duffy was so anticipating pressure that he rushed the kick. He didn't have to kick it that soon. And because of the rush, he kind of shanked it off his foot out of bounds.
It's Travion Williams. Travion Williams down. They're still not really in field goal range, you would think.
They called timeout.
Yep. Although if you have somebody over there who you think could blast from about 60, you might want to try it here. At the very least, you could throw one in the end zone. They sent 3 receivers to the right.
And Rodgers is the middle of those 3. So he's the guy you want to go up and try to high point the ball or even tip it.
And here comes pressure. Looked like Allen got held for a moment. No flag on the field. Up and goes into the end zone. And it's incomplete.
That got knocked down. The ball's on the ground.
End of the 4th quarter.
Intended for Kendrick Rogers, it seemed. The crowd of players there. Devontae Robinson, sophomore, hometown man from Lexington, Kentucky. Foremost on the defense on that play.
Kind of see the arm strength of Kevin Mond, though. That ball was all the way into the end zone. And it falls to the ground, and we go to overtime. Only 178 total yards of offense for Kentucky. Benny Snell has been held in check, only 60 yards rushing. But by getting the ball on the 25-yard line, Benny Snell becomes, he becomes your main weapon again.
He's never had a touchdown reception. He's the all-time leader in Kentucky in career touchdowns with 40.
Yeah.
Never had a touchdown catch. They've thrown the ball to him tonight. Might it be the oddity of a touchdown catch to put them ahead? The way it's gone tonight, if you're Mark Stoops, we're joking, of course, but would you put the defense on the field? You saw Ben Snell, Benny Snell's dad. They fake to Lynn Bowden and swing it to him. He scored their offensive touchdown very early in the game.
Well, how about
he gets ridden down by Donovan Wilson, who's been a great open field tackler tonight.
Really a sure tackler, vocal, inspirational leader of this defense. Talks to the team every day, holds everybody accountable. He has been a force in the open field tonight.
Neither team wants to try a field goal. Field goal kicking situation a little unsettled on each side.
I'd like to see a little option to the wide side. Give Wilson and Benny Snell the chance to make a play.
It might have been a design run. He looked to the left like he was going to throw the quick hitter to the inside receiver. Wilson pulled it down and got within about a yard of the first down, perhaps a yard and a half.
It was a design quarterback counter. I think the fake outside was just that, a fake. Wilson just not quite able to finish that run for the first down, and now they'll go straight shotgun, and you know who's carrying the football here. Now the quarterback is behind center.
And they're in the pistol. And a lot of time wasted, and Wilson's down. They might have got a little too tricky for themselves. And Kingsley Keke with a huge play back at the 25-yard line.
They thought they were going to fool the A&M defense. They had two tight ends. They're going to release them both out on the route. A&M was not fooled at all. They played pass beautifully. They had both receivers covered. And then Terry Wilson not able to get away from Keke. The timeout caused Kentucky to change the play, and now they have a long field goal attempt.
Then can the Kentucky magic continue off the foot of Miles Butler? Long-time backup until this is senior year, former walk-on, to give them the lead in overtime. Bang! Off the crossbar and short. Right down the middle, but he clanked it off the crossbar.
And you think of the 5 yards lost by Terry Wilson on that sack. The difference in this field goal attempt.
Yeah, rare to see any kicker come up short from 43 yards with very little wind as a factor, but he didn't catch all of it. One of the great stories of their season, the former walk-on, a 4.0 student. The team was elated when he got put on scholarship. For many years, they didn't have to worry about the kicking when they had McGinnis, the 4-year starter and all-time leading scorer. Now all A&M does, all they need is a field goal in their kicking situation. As we mentioned, not rock solid with the true freshman Seth Small. All they need is a field goal, and A&M will have its biggest win under Jimbo Fisher in his first home game in the SEC. Travion Williams would be about a 33-yard field goal from here.
Just good power run. You got two tight ends in the formation. Nice job running right in behind Trevor Wood, the graduate transfer tight end from Arizona. Boy, I just am so surprised Kentucky had the play with Benny Snell was going to run the football. They called timeout. They changed the play. They took the ball out of the hands of their best player on the most critical play of the night.
Yep, a little too tricky. Might have overthought it with the additional time, and now Mond gets the first down.
It just reminds me, sitting there watching Penn State and Ohio State last week, the critical play of the game, 4th and 5. Trace McSorley, you take the ball out of his hands and put it in someone else's hands, and Ohio State gets the stop. They took the ball out of Benny Snell's hand on that play, and now A&M closing in on a potential game-winning field goal here in OT.
Seth Small, the kicker. 0 for 1 tonight. He hit the right upright from 40 yards, and he was 1 for 3 last week. Travion Williams.
Travion's just got to make sure he takes care of the football here. He's running hard. He's fighting for extra yardage. But he's got to make sure he takes care of the football. They are clearly in field goal range. Now will they, depending on which hash mark Seth Small would prefer to be on, do they just run the ball over to the middle of the field here? Probably do that on 3rd down, depending on what they do here.
Team's kicking on 3rd down. It might not matter. It does not. Travion Williams wins the game in overtime for Texas A&M.
Jimbo Fisher told us yesterday, if Cullen Gillespie ever learns to block, he's going to be an NFL player. Well, guess what? On this play, he gets the key block. Watch him lead the way for Travion Williams. Kick out block by the fullback. Travion Williams runs through a tackle, and A&M, in their first overtime possession, gets the touchdown in the win.
Darius West, perhaps tired, whiffed on the tackle. That's not his usual.
He's trying to rip the ball out. He's trying to strip the ball out instead of meeting the back in the hole. And Travion Williams was having none of that. Sean, at the beginning of the show, we said the two running backs were the story. Texas A&M put the ball in his hands. Kentucky didn't put it in Benny Snell's.
Time now to send you to Adam Amin. Utah and Stanford.